Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Amy and I travel pretty much full time while creating content. And I was just back in Taghazout and Imsouane for the third time, so I thought it'd be a good chance to talk about everything that's changed and what we thought about it going back, because I was just back with my boyfriend, Sam. So it was our second time back in Taghazout?
Third time. No, yeah, you're right.
Second time back in Taghazout. I got there a couple of days before Sam did, and it wasn't super different, but it's definitely expanded. So in the past year, I could notice that there were more buildings, there were more like hotels and hostels kind of popping up on the outskirts of Taghazout. So it's definitely getting a little bit busier, but overall it was quite similar to the last time we were there, and every time we've gone it's been a similar time of year, which is the peak season usually between November and February is peak season. We were there in December and January.
The prices have seemingly stayed, or more or less they've only gone a bit up, so it's generally around the same price range. It's not gone like up by a crazy amount. It's just kind of probably matching with inflation, maybe a bit more because it's getting more touristy. Still pretty affordable to eat out every day.
And accommodation is still kind of the same pricing. If you want to get a private room at a hostel, it's about 30 euros a night, I think, and a dorm room is about 10. So if you're splitting it with two people, like friends or a couple, then it's definitely worth it getting a private room to spend just a couple extra euros. But the rooms are not amazing. I don't know. I don't think we would want to stay in the hostels again. They're not the best hostels. They're kind of dirty and a little bit run down.
I think they're usually pretty sort of hostel quality. We didn't stay in any hotels there, so we don't really know, but the private rooms and hostels were just sort of hostel quality, cleanliness, organisation.
Yeah, not the best, but
it's fine.
Okay for the price. And food-wise, you can get some cheap food if you go to the local restaurants, and the pricing kind of stayed the same, but you can't cook at any of the hostels really. They do technically have kitchens sometimes, but they're not really the best equipped, so you don't really have a proper kitchen to cook in, so you end up spending a little bit more eating out. I'm going to get some fresh bread.
Hot bread.
Show bread.
So good. It's soft. Oh.
And how much was it? 5?
For 2, 5 euros.
Which is 50 cents. Imsouane is my favorite place in Morocco.
Oh yeah, same.
Probably, yeah. And that was our third time going back because we love it so much. Last year we posted a video kind of showing what happened to Imsouane because buildings were getting torn down. And this year, well, it was actually in the same year, it was at the very end of 2024 that we went back. It was pretty much rebuilt. All the homes that were torn down, all the rubble is kind of gone, but they are doing construction still. And they're definitely trying to build it up, so it's getting more touristy than it was before. And price-wise, it's kind of stayed the same at the moment. I think once they get more tourists coming, then they're gonna bump things up a lot, but it didn't seem that different. The beach was still pretty empty. It was mostly surfers. There was a surf competition going, so it was busy for that, but it is the peak surf time when we were there.
There were a few tents that had cropped up in the cliffside on one of the nicest beaches, which I assume were possibly from people that had been living in some of the houses that were torn down, but I don't know. The business owners do seem to be pretty happy that, as they were last time, that the houses are gone, because it means more businesses in town there. They're excited about the upcoming development. Right. That's gonna chill with us for dinner. That's coming on the date as well.
Yeah.
We had beer pong. Smells good. Kind of felt that despite the locals seeming pretty happy about all the business people that are working there directly with tourists, seem to be pretty happy about all these changes because it's helping them directly. But there is some things I've heard, or some feeling that, for example, the tents on the beach, that there are some still bad things, or it's not all quite sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, and one girl that we met a couple years ago in Morocco, who's German, but her family is Moroccan, she was kind of telling me a little bit more in detail on Instagram about the issues going on, and that the government is not really helping the people in Morocco, and it's more nuanced, and basically explaining that the tourism is also bringing some issues to Imsouane, so it's just something that you need to be aware of and think about when you're going to these places, is how locals are going to be affected and what you can be doing to have a positive impact instead of negatively impact the locals.
Or just, if you want to go on holiday somewhere, how to minimise the amount of damage you're going to be doing.
So that kind of wraps up Imsouane. We still had a really good time and enjoyed our experience, especially because there were so many cats, and that's my main love of Imsouane, is like the cats.
Cats,
and
beach, and sunshine.
Sunsets. So it still has a really nice vibe to it, and we really enjoyed going. I still like it more than Taghazout.
Yeah, I agree. I really liked Taghazout last year, but this year, after Imsouane, it was just too crowded, quite dirty, too chaotic.
And I think the beach at Imsouane is just more beautiful, so that's the reason we keep going back, and I still think it's worth visiting, especially if you haven't been to Morocco, to check out the coast, and maybe go check out some other areas that are like not as big, and you can just, if you have a car, travel down. I know it's not that expensive to rent cars, so if we go back, I think we would definitely get a car at some point, just to see a lot more. So that kind of wraps up the entire experience in Imsouane and Taghazout for the very end of 2024. I don't think a whole lot has changed. It's still pretty similar, and the pricing is similar, so if you want to check out any of my previous videos where I talk about the budget and how much we spent, then please go check them out. But for reference, our previous trip that we just did for 10 days was around 500 Canadian dollars, or 370 US dollars for one person. So that's just a rough estimate about how much you'd be spending. You can definitely spend less. I think we spent less last time as well. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Hello. Oh, mother cat.